Welcome to Rubens Nest, Uniquely Yours, a show designed for the plus-size community. Mother's Day is right around the corner, so today we're celebrating moms and talking about the important role they play in parenting, especially with plus-size children, developing their self-esteem, boosting self-confidence, and having body-positive self-images. With us to share their story is mother and daughter Elizabeth and Jewel. We also have an in-studio interview with Toushanta Hogan, chatting about the raising of a Mogul Society and how parents can encourage young entrepreneurs to seek out and realize their dreams. There's lots to talk about, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. In the nest today is Cyddia, along with our favorite StyleVixon Nicole. Take it away, ladies.
Hi, and welcome once again to Rubens Nest. Today, sitting in the co-host seat with me is our StyleVixon Nicole.
Hi.
It's so good to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you know, always. It's a joy to have you here. So you're wondering, where are the girls? Where are Siobhan and where are Tamia? Siobhan wasn't with us last time, and Tamia isn't with us this time. Well, both my girls are down. Siobhan is recovering from surgery. She did very well, yes. So you know, she's doing good, but you know, it takes time to heal, so she is doing that. And Tamia got this horrible, disgusting flu that everybody seems to be getting. I had my bout with it the first week I started my new job. Would you believe that?
That's horrible.
I know. But thank God that was President's Weekend, so I was okay.
You had time. Right.
I had 4 days to heal. So both of my ladies are not feeling well. We miss you, we love you, and they'll be back in May.
Yes.
You better be.
I know, right?
You know?
You better send them some vitamin C or something.
Something to get them back on track, because we just need it, you know. We just need them. Come on, girls.
Yes.
And today would have been a perfect show for both of them.
Right.
Yeah, perfect show. You know, we celebrated on the last show Women's Month.
Okay.
And it was, you know, International Women's Day, International Women's Month. And so we did a little celebration talking about some women who have made some tremendous strides and wonderful accomplishments for womanhood.
Yes.
And this month decided, you know what, let's keep the celebration going.
Right.
After all, you know, April is just before Mother's Day.
Yes.
You know, and we said, let's celebrate moms.
Okay.
Let's talk about moms, and let's talk about, you know, how wonderful they are.
Yes.
And what an important role they play
Absolutely.
in the raising of our children.
Absolutely.
You know, they're the rock. You know, they are the first relationship that you have.
Absolutely. Yep, it's with mom.
Is with
Definitely.
mama.
Yes.
You know, mom's the anchor, and then she continues to be that foundation. So it's really good. So we wanted to celebrate moms, whether you are a married mom in a two-parent household, a single mom, a foster mom, an adoptive mom, an auntie who's become a mom.
Yep.
We celebrate all of you and the importance that you play in the lives of the children that you are raising.
Absolutely.
Okay? Now, being a mom can sometimes be a very thankless job. You and I know this. Yeah. It's not always easy.
No.
We do and we do and we do. We bend over backwards, and sometimes it seems like mom never gets a thank you.
Right.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations. I raised a son. My son's an adult now, and you know, there were days though when I just want to put him in a box and ship him off.
Send him somewhere.
Send him far, far away, because it was like, you know, he'd do things,
It's like,
and
why?
you know, it's like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Do you realize what I'm doing for you? You know.
I think they don't realize it until much later. And oftentimes until when they become parents. Then they're like, wow, I now know what my mama was trying to tell me.
The light goes on.
Yes.
The light goes on, and it's a click, and then, you know, all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow.
That's why she said don't do that. Oh, okay.
I know that's what happened with me, with my parents. My parents were very strict, very old school, and a lot of things that they did coming up just kind of didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you did this, but I know I always used to say, when I'm a mom, I am never going to do this.
I
will
wait.
I'm never going to tell my child this. I'm never going to tell my child that. But unfortunately, that's what we do.
Right.
You know, we wake up one morning and we realize we have become our parents.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So today we're going to talk about moms, especially in the parenting role, and with a focus on raising plus size kids.
Yes.
So, you know, there's raising kids is just, difficult
Anyway.
But when you're raising a plus size kid, there's that little extra, that you need to be aware,
Right.
of those things. So it's going to be awesome because we're going to get a chance to talk to a mother and daughter who have a journey and a story to tell about their relationship.
Awesome.
Being one plus size. And we also raise our kids to be really productive human beings, to, reach goals, shoot for the stars.
Absolutely.
And we have with us today in studio Toushanta Hogan,
Awesome.
who is also one of our sponsors for our Love Me As I Am Because campaign.
Great. Yeah, I love her.
Yes.
She's great.
She's fabulous. And not only is she CEO of her own company and COO of her daughter Shy's World's company, but she's also involved in a program called Raising a Mogul Society.
Yes.
Which is, just wait till your interview.
Exciting.
It's extremely exciting, and it's really going to give you something for you as a parent to realize how you can help your kids,
Yes.
even at a tender age,
Right.
to become
Yeah.
successful.
Right, and really just honing in on their talents
Yeah.
early and helping them to funnel and channel that into something productive.
Absolutely.
I think that is amazing.
It really is. It really is. And I checked the website out after she told me about it. And it was just one of those things that she just, oh, by the way, I do this.
Right.
And I was like, really? My goodness. But it absolutely fascinated me, and I'm like, yeah, this is great stuff. We need to focus on it.
Absolutely.
So you're going to enjoy that. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Let's do it.
So let's talk. Okay.
All right.
So here at Rubens Nest, part of our mission is, of course, we've always said is that we want to empower you. We want to, bring things to you that will enhance your life. But we also, not only want to encourage you in your own development, your own self-expression, your own learning who you are,
Right.
and the body, your body image, etc. But we also want to educate and inform.
Right.
So we found a couple of books. Actually, there are 3 books that we found, and we, wanted to touch on a topic that is really kind of close to our hearts. Well, one of our first shows, we asked, why are you a part of this? And one of the things that Tamia said was she wanted to be an example
Wow.
to young women. And Tamia's not a parent, okay? She has no kids, she's not married, but she really has a passion for our young people, particularly our young women. And Siobhan and we're both moms, and we raised, I raised and she's raising,
Right.
Children who are plus size,
Yes.
And we're plus size. So this is, like I said, especially, important to us. And Nicole,
Yes.
you raised a daughter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
She's
so,
plus size.
and she's a plus size girl, and so we all have experience. So today we just kind of want to touch on that. Mom, what is your role, in getting this started, in laying that foundation and helping not just your daughters, but your sons too,
Right.
To learn to be self-loving.
Yes.
Because that's our goal. We want you to love yourself. And moms, you help with that goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's one book called How to Behave So Your Children Will Too, and that's by Sal Sevier. Now that's a really good book in general that kind of lays down some foundation on, parenting.
Right.
So it's a great book to read and to, just get a good sense of, am I doing right by my kids? Am I not doing right? What are some things that I can get them to do so that they behave the way I want them to behave?
Right.
I
like the title because I think also what it does is it takes a lot of times when as parents we're looking at the kid, how do we make the kid act right? We don't realize that a lot of how they act or behave is based on how we are acting and behaving.
Absolutely.
So they're looking at us to kind of get those signals and cues on what to do. And if we're out there, or freaked out, they kind of project what we put out as well. So I like that. It's like it's trying to say, how do you act right so that your kids can act right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I think he tapped into that. The other book is called Good Girls Don't Get Fat: How Weight Obsession is Messing Up Our Girls and How We Can Help Them Thrive Despite It. And that's by Dr. Robin J.A. Silverman, who's a PhD, and she wrote it along with Dina Santorelli. And when I read that, Good Girls Don't Get Fat, it really gave me pause because as she points out in the book over and over, we have this misconception.
Right.
Skinny is good, fat is bad.
Right.
And you keep pushing that into an impressionable child.
Right.
And that's what they come away with. So, it's like, what?
Right.
And
even if you never say that, literally say that to that child, all the other sort of things that happen or the situations that we create often give that same message. So I think sometimes even if you never say that to your kid, but you do other things, you're in a sense saying that, right?
Exactly.
Without directly saying it.
Exactly.
So it's really important to be aware of that kind of stuff.
Right. And then, of course, this one, just the title alone, because it's something that I've mentioned before. I've heard this all my life. You'd be so pretty if, or, you have such a pretty face. Well, this is You'd Be So Pretty If, Teaching Our Child to Love Their Bodies Even When We Don't Love Our Own, by Dara Chadwick. And I thought that one, was like, ooh, ouch. Very true. It's a true thing.
It is.
I think that sometimes, as I said before about our own insecurity, sometimes we forget what we're putting off.
And we will project that, and we can project it onto our children if we're not careful.
Absolutely.
So I think this is a good one too. Like, what, I might not like myself, but I need to make sure that my kids are okay. So how can I do that? I think this is awesome.
Yes.
Because sometimes you're not there yet as an adult, but you know enough to know that you don't want to put that on your kids.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So as parents, our big thing is, of course, is that we measure our success by our children.
Yes.
How often have you heard, parents tell a child, you know what, when you step out of this house, you represent this household, you represent me, and, that's a heavy burden. That you put on your child, and so we judge ourselves by this success, and we do a lot of comparison.
Right.
We sit around comparing ourselves to other parents. What are they doing with their kids?
Right.
Is my child as successful as that one's child? Are these two kids equal?
Right.
Who's better, who's worse? And we do these things, and then you end up, with a child that's neurotic as hell. Doesn't say it, neurotic as hell. And then we wonder why. Why is my child acting this way? I don't understand it, and How to Behave So Your Children Will Too. Sal uses the example of buying apples. When you go out to buy an apple, you squeeze it, you look at it, you smell it, you want to make sure there's no bruising on it, because we want this perfect, shiny, pretty apple, right? And so we want our kids to be shiny and happy, well-adjusted. We want these shiny apples.
Right.
But again, the thing is that sometimes, we as parents fail And it isn't because we don't love our children.
Right.
It's because, you know, we pass on to them our own insecurities.
Yes. And oftentimes those insecurities were passed on to us by our parents, and it kind of just it's a cycle.
It is. It's a huge cycle.
Yeah,
it's the legacy, you know. So that is something that is very important, that as parents that we have to be very mindful of.
Right.
You know, check yourself. You know, I heard, you know, was it some TV show, and someone was doing something that was, you know, inappropriate, and the person said to him, you know, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I said, you know, that's very catchy, and I kind of like that. And I said, I have to remember to use it.
Right.
But it's something that, you know, when you are dealing with your kids, you know, or in anything, you have to really check yourself before you wreck yourself. In this case, before you wreck your kids.
Right.
You know? So it's really kind of, you know, let's be mindful of some of the things that we need to do. And moms, as we've said, you know, we have a major impact on our children.
Major.
You know, a mom can scold with a look.
Yes.
We heal with a touch.
Yep.
And we can crush with a word.
Yep. Boom. Done.
Yeah. You know, and I don't think, sometimes moms, we don't think about that.
Right.
Until we see the after effects.
Right.
You know, I can remember a time where I used to do this as a punishment to my son, was I would withhold myself. He and I raised my son as a single parent. I had a big village, but I was a single parent.
Right.
And so we were like this, very close, and we did everything together as he was coming up. And,
right.
you know, we'd have wonderful weekends and plans and going and reading together, watching movies, just lots of stuff. And when he would misbehave, I would withhold myself from him. And it wasn't until, you know, I'd been doing it for a while, and he made a comment to me, and with tears, he says, you know, Mom, you know, talk to me. You're not talking to me. You know, that hurts when you don't do that. And of course, you know, in my head, you know, it's like, well, that's good. That's the whole point.
Right.
Maybe next time you'll behave yourself and you won't do this. But then something kind of after the fact.
Yeah.
Sitting and, you know, we sit and we talk, we mull over things in our heads. At least I do.
Right.
You know. And I was thinking about that. I was like, you know, that is really wrong.
Yeah.
That is not how you punish your child. That is not how you teach your child good behavior.
You have to explain and say, well, this is why we don't do this. And because what happens is you don't want him to then, well, he's already grown now, but you don't want him to be an adult and then now his wife or girlfriend is like, when we argue, he shuts down. Exactly. Why does he do that? And then now, you know, so you don't want that. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, of course now it's different because we did do a lot of, you know, after that talking. So now my son loves to talk and loves to share. And sometimes he wants to overshare.
I didn't need to know that.
I know. But no, it isn't I mean, when I say overshare, it's, you know, he has so much going on in his head.
Yeah.
And he just wants to get it out, and he has to express, you know, himself and share about everything, whether it's a movie, you know, that he is looking forward to seeing, and he's a big movie buff, and he'll come, sometimes, you know, I'll be in the middle of watching a TV program, and he begins a dialogue, and it's really a monologue.
You know, he wants
to talk to me, but I'm like,
okay,
this is not the time. I'm really kind of watching this show. Thank God for DVRs that you can pause and go back. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that I caught myself early enough to where we began having conversation.
Yeah, that's important. It's really important. I think same with my daughter. She's 22 now. Just allowing her to talk, you know, and not and sometimes wanting to say something, but it's like, no. She wants to be heard, so let her say what she has to say, no judgment, let her get it out.
Exactly.
And then we can have a dialogue after that. But not wanting to, well, you should think about, it's like, stop, she's not asking for that right now, she just wants to be heard. So, and
that's just really important. It's very important, and it's good to start when they're young.
Yes.
You know, they're people.
Absolutely.
You know, I was always told children are seen and not heard.
Yeah.
And we kind of started out that way. But my dad, bless his heart, his dad was one of those, I didn't ask for your opinion. I don't want to know what you have to say. So my dad sort of, kind of did his own, thing. And he would sit us down at the table, and we were allowed on Sundays at Sunday dinner to talk about anything that had happened during the week.
Oh, wow.
Share our thoughts, share our feelings, what's going on in your head. Did you feel that your mom and I were right or wrong? Why?
Wow.
And it was important for us to be able at that time to say,
yes,
knowing that there would be no repercussion. And that's the important thing. Sometimes you just have to let your kid talk, hear what your child has to say, and not come back with, oh, really? Oh, yeah? Okay, all right, that's how you feel? All right, okay. Well then, and then, go to your room and, no, you can't go here.
Right.
So this is, free talk, and it's very important.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
and with a full-figured kid,
Yeah.
the way we talk to them about their body image,
Very important.
the way we talk to them about food,
Yes.
and weight,
Yep.
those are like real key topics that you have to, I don't want to say walk on an eggshell.
Just tread lightly. You have to just be kind. I think that's the word.
That's a good
for
word.
me. And the reason why, and the thing I'll say is this, because when I was growing up and I was plus size, and my mom, again, had her thoughts about it be based on stuff maybe that her parents had talked to her about. So I was very conscious of my weight as a child. And it's like, you don't have to talk to your children about being fat. They know what they look, they know what bodies they're living in.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's this whole thing of, oh, this will make you fat. I already know. You don't have to remind me.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have a mirror in my room.
I'm already getting teased. I'm already, so I don't need the extra, reminders.
Exactly.
Of those things.
Yeah, I think when a child comes home, especially a plus-size child, home should be a safe harbor.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know that I had the same experience. My mom would say things to me, about, oh, you're putting on a little bit of weight. My dad, who, I adored my father, okay? My dad, with all his love, he would say things, and he'd say it, kind of cute, go, maybe you might not want to be wearing pants right about now, or something, or you just little things, or you go, girl, putting a little bit of, on that little bam bam, and and you kind of like, all right, Dad, thank you, I love you too, but stop already.
Right.
I didn't need to hear that. Okay, thank you, but no, thank you.
Right.
So it's really important that don't put that extra pressure.
Right.
If you want your child to eat healthily, then prepare healthy meals.
Right.
That's really kind of simple.
And see, that's the problem, and that's the thing. And I was talking to a friend of mine because I think his sister's daughter is getting bigger, and I said, well, the responsibility is on that parent. Don't make that child's fault or make that child feel bad. The child is already being teased, probably at school already. There are things that you're going to have to do as a family to surround or wrap around this child.
Exactly.
So if you want her to eat differently, you're going to have to feed her differently.
Exactly.
If you want her to be more active, you can't just send her outside.
No.
We gotta go together, right?
That's it.
So I'm like, a lot of this is more about you than it is her.
Yes, exactly. Which kind of leads me to, in the book, Good Girls Don't Get Fat, so forth and so on, Dr. Robin mentions a survey in 2009 that was done in the United Kingdom with a teen magazine called Sugar. And they surveyed 512 teen girls. And the girls, they found 6% had eating disorders.
Wow.
But when you look specifically at the girls whose mothers are always dieting, the number goes up to 10%.
Wow.
Which is really, I mean, that's really staggering when you think in terms of, 6% have eating disorders, but the ones whose moms are on diet, even more so.
Right.
So, that isn't good. And in other studies, it reveals that girls' desires to be thin are tied at least in part to what they think their mothers want from them.
Yes.
Okay? So that kind of goes back to how you think of yourself.
Yes.
And your kids wanting to please you can create a situation that isn't necessarily healthy.
Right.
All right? As parents, we've got to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be able to determine, like I said, is your child's weight their problem or is it your problem? Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, I bet you, if you are really honest, it is your problem.
Right.
So Dr. Robin gave us 10 things that she says, ask yourself, is your child's weight a real problem or simply a problem for others around her, including you? So here are 10 questions that you should ask yourself. Is my child healthy? Is my child happy? Is my child successful in school and extracurricular activities? Does my child have good friends? Does my child have a good work ethic and solid values? Is my child embarrassed about her weight, or am I? Does my child feel ridiculed, teased, or discriminated against due to their weight? Or do I fear that they will be ridiculed, teased, or discriminated against?
Right.
If my child lost weight, would they be a lot happier, or would I?
Yeah.
Does my child complain about being fat? And is my child's weight an issue for them?
Right.
Or is it an issue for me? All right. So if your child's weight is your issue, then you have to make some changes.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
In beginning with how you talk, or don't talk about food and weight.
Right.
And without pointing out the obvious, it isn't helpful pointing out what isn't positive.
Right.
Okay. So you have to, recognize that, as you mentioned earlier, how you feel about yourself sometimes is a generational
Yes, absolutely.
thing. Yeah. It starts with grandma. Grandma passes it on to mom. Mom passes it on to child. And it just keeps going, and it's a vicious cycle. And then the child grows up and either continues that,
Right.
legacy of being body shamed or having negative feelings about body image, or they have to make a choice and they have to realize, don't blame it on the generation legacy and those negative body images, that you learned, those lessons learned.
Yeah.
But understand that that's what's happening,
Right.
and then make a choice.
Yeah.
Decide, am I going to free myself of this,
Right.
or do I let it continue to affect me into, adulthood and into my parenting my child?
Right. And it can be really hard. I mean, because first you have to even realize that that's what's happening.
Yes.
And be able to name it and claim it in
Yes,
some sense in order
yes.
to let it go.
Yes.
Right? So if you're not even in that level of consciousness or awareness, you don't even realize that's what's happening to you. So it does take a little bit of time, to self-reflection, like what is really going on here? And then to get the help necessary, right? Can be also difficult. But, everyone's journey and experience with their mothers and their children is different. And each of us has our own story to tell. I certainly got a story. And here to share their mother-daughter story is Elizabeth and Jewel. So let's watch.
Well, here we are with Jewel. I've known Jewel for a while, and she's just this awesome, awesome young woman. I've known her since she was a young thing, and she just continues to amaze me in many, many ways. So welcome, Jewel, to Rubens Nest.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I am very happy that you agreed to do this interview. I've been wanting to interview you, and I'd love you to come on the show and talk about the program at UCLA and just all of the things that you're doing. Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Perfect. But I know you're super busy. So I'm not going to keep you too long. I'm just going to let's launch into it. You and I have something in common. We were both plus size kids and we grew up to be plus size women. But we had moms who come from the islands.
Yes. And all of what that means.
And all of what, yeah, all of that comes with. So as we're talking about, celebrating our moms who we love dearly, but we're also talking about how they parent us, and how that has affected us. So tell us a little bit about you growing up in a home with your mom. Was it a struggle? Was it fabulous? Was it wonderful?
It was, my mom is amazing. My mom's my best friend, one of my best friends, and we're super close. But it was a challenge. Like it was very real. My mom, in all her intentions, on all her good intentions now as an adult, realizing that they were good intentions, I had a very complicated relationship, not only with her, but with my body and like what that meant. And so it created a lot of issues for me, not so much as a kid, but like in my teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
And my relationship, because of her desire for me to fit in and to be not plus size,
Mm-hmm.
in some ways for my health, but in other ways for aesthetics and people's judgments of her. You have a plus size daughter. Like, what are you doing wrong? You're a bad parent. You're a bad mom. Like, all of that stuff. It created a lot of tension for me because I didn't love myself, and I didn't love the body that I was in. And it created a really tortured relationship for us, much through my teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it until I was much older. That's what I knew. I jokingly used to say, oh, like from the ages of like 15 to 18, I couldn't stand my mother. Like I didn't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be around her. She just drove me. I just didn't like her and didn't want to be around her. And now I realize that a lot of it was because of that, because of her good intentions that kind of went south.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of like my relationship with regards to that. Yeah.
And I share the same thing because I don't know if you've probably heard me say, I love my mother to pieces. I loved her so, so much, but I didn't like her a lot sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that, the pressure that they put on themselves. Now, my mom was a skinny woman for most of her life, but there was a time after she had all 5 of us, she gained weight, and she was a size 24.
Mm-hmm.
And she had tremendous angst about that.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately she, sought out a doctor and started popping, pills to lose the weight, and then pushed me into it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a push-pull relationship, and the dynamics of it they're really hard because, as you said, it's like, I love you, but I really don't like you. And, and it's just like, ugh, let me alone. So at what point did you finally say to yourself, enough, I need to have control of me, and, let me go, leave me alone, when did that happen? Did you have like an epiphany, or?
So I still have issues with her on it. I'm almost 30 years old. I'll be 30 in October.
I can't believe that.
I know it's yeah. I'll be 30 in October, and I don't live at home anymore, right? And it wasn't but I still talk to my mom every day. And
Mm-hmm.
so every day, every time I talk to her, it's a conversation. There'll be a commentary. There'll be something to the effect of, what did you have for lunch today? Or, what did you eat? Or what are you wearing? Or, how does that look? And I'm just like, so I don't think it's completely resolved itself, but I've learned to ignore it.
Yeah.
And I've also the benefit of not living at home.
Right.
So I don't, as much as I love my mom, I don't have to pick up the phone if I don't want to.
Exactly.
So for me, it was about learning to pick my battles with her on that, because it's not something that I think is ever going to go away. Even if I decide that I want to lose the weight and become a size 2, you know what I mean? Which I don't think will ever happen.
Right.
But even if I decide to do that, I don't know if she'll ever see me the way she wants to see me. Because I think she has this ideal in her head as to what I'm supposed to look like. And she's like, oh, you're so, you're so accomplished. You have these degrees and you're doing all this stuff for other people. And you're, and so she has this idea that, like, me losing this weight and being a size 2, or, not the size that I am, is going to make my life perfect. And I just don't see that, right? I'm like, it's not about that for me.
Exactly. It's not about that. There's a couple of books that we've been reading and talking about. One is Good Girls Don't Get Fat. And the other one is, You're So Pretty If, kind of, and one is
my gosh, yes.
heard that all our lives, right?
Right. Yes.
Yes. And in one of the books, actually in both, they really kind of say the same things, that oftentimes, the weight that we carry, it really isn't as much a problem for us as it is for them. It's they put their insecurities, their fears on us. Right. And so we end up having these, long reaching, everlasting, issues, kind of resolving for ourselves, and trying to get to a place where we can trust and feel like we're in control of who we are. Yeah. So do you feel that you're reaching that place, have reached that place?
Yeah. I think I definitely feel that way. There are things that I would change about. There are things that I would change, right? In terms of the way that I live my life, but also in terms of the weight. Like, it wouldn't hurt, right, to be a little healthy, to be a little smaller, for lack of a better way to phrase it, just for health purposes. But I've learned the difference.
Yes.
Right. So I make different changes in the way that I live my life to make myself feel healthier. But it's not about a size for me, and it's not about a number on the scale.
I like that. I like that. And with all of the body image, shaming and everything that's going on in the world, how does that affect you? How do you feel about that? I know I feel enraged most of the time.
Yeah. I'm like, why do you care so much?
Yeah.
Like, what the number or the size is between the person, their doctor, and God. You know what I mean?
Hello.
Like, or like that's all it is for me. So why do you care so much?
Right.
Why do you do your thing? I'll do mine, and we can all coexist together.
Exactly.
So it frustrates me to no end, but it also scares me, because there's so many. Like, I work with so many young women who already have so many not issues, but so many struggles and challenges, right? Especially working with students of color, low income, underserved communities. Like, we already have so many challenges to leap over and to get past. Right. This is just another thing, and that one thing, like, in terms of body shaming, could send someone over the edge, for lack of a better way to phrase it. Right. And it's like, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, it's not an issue. Yeah.
I know. I was reading. Somebody put a post on Facebook on our page, and it was an article about Gillette, and they have a very plus size model in a two-piece bathing
Oh,
suit.
I think I've seen
You've
that.
seen that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I started reading comments that people had posted. And there was one person in particular, a woman, who felt that the article was now body shaming skinny women. And a man was the one who came to the defense and tried to say, it's not that. And when they talk about a real woman, they aren't, saying a large sized woman is a real woman and a skinny woman isn't. They're saying we're all women. And
Right.
yeah, okay, it's not about size, it's about who you are, what's inside of you, so forth and so on. And this woman went on and on and on, using very vile and vulgar language, I might add, which to me, that speaks volume to the level of, her intelligence, because if you can't express yourself without, cursing somebody out, you have a problem anyway, whether you're, skinny or thick. So I read this and just kind of going on and on until I couldn't read it anymore.
Of course,
Yeah. And I stopped and I was thinking to myself, imagine, for one moment, the shoe was on the other foot. And they were walking in our shoes. Every day they have to go out in the world and they have to face the looks that we get, going into a store and seeing something that you absolutely love and they tell you, I'm sorry, but we don't carry it in your size. Try the big girl store down the street. Having, people make judgments about you.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, imagine if they did that. Would they still have those same thoughts, and it just really, and all day long, that's kind of because I was, had been kind of running through my head preparing, and I was thinking, it's like, wow, they don't get it. They really don't get it.
No.
They don't.
Yeah. And it's interesting and just bringing it back to like being parented by my mom and my dad, I'm very close with both of my parents.
Yes.
And it obviously a different way it manifests with my dad and with my mom. But just speaking to my mom, it's interesting because I was still, as much as there was that kind of underlying, you need to change, you need to lose the weight, so on and so forth, my mom was always always defended me against other people.
Right.
She protected me against other people. Like this thing that we had was always just between the two of us.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so, but my mom always protected me against, like, she taught me how to dress myself, like in ways that would complement my body. And she taught me how to shop, and those sorts of things. And I think at some point she realized I think she goes back and forth with it. She goes, my daughter is my daughter, and she's incredibly strong-willed, and I am, and she's gonna do what's best for her. So, and I'm super grateful to my mom for that, because she does let me be. She like any mom, I think I know that she wants what's best for what she thinks is best for me, and I acknowledge that. But in the grand scheme of things, she's always been, not even supportive is not the right word, but she's always just been like, my daughter is who my daughter is, and we're going to love her and accept her for who she is. Right.
There you go. And that's the key. Growing up, did you ever feel in any way, just with the words that she might have used, there was again in one of the books, it says, how sometimes moms, we will use words to describe our children,
Mm-hmm.
and all we hear in our head is, you know, she's saying I'm fat, you know, and that it's, again, that's that reminder, that constant reminder, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, you know, I know the body that I live in, I know
Right.
what I look like. um did you ever feel, you know, it's like at some point it's like, Mom, you know, stop saying that, just
Mm-hmm.
talk to me, you know? Did you ever
Yeah.
feel, yeah, you know?
And I don't know if there's like specific words that she used, because I don't think she ever has said the word like fat or,
Uh-huh.
you know, and she's never said words that. And let's just talk about the idea of reclaiming the word fat. Like it's not a dirty word,
Yes,
but
hello.
but she's never used she never used those words to my recollection.
Okay.
But they were always like, okay, Mom, enough. Like
Mhm.
there's just, you know, and I got to a point where I was just like, I will listen to you for about 5 minutes and then I'm just like, I'm done. Like
Right.
we're not doing this anymore. So I just learned to like walk away, or like just for my own sanity.
Yeah.
Like, cause yeah.
And yeah, and for your own sanity, for your own well-being. I mean, I think, you know, you've accepted who you are. You
Hmm.
know, this is who I am. You take me or you leave me. You
Yeah,
know, what my body looks like has nothing to do with me, the person.
exactly.
And that's what I appreciate about you, is that it isn't my size, it
Hmm.
isn't my hair color, you know, it's me, the person, and what I have to offer and what I bring to the world. That's
Yeah.
important. And
Yeah.
I'm just thrilled to hear, you know, about the work that you're doing with these underserved communities. You know, you're an amazing role model to these
Thank
kids.
you.
You
Thank you.
know, you really are. And it's just, you know, from the little insecure girl that I met many, 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 many
Yeah.
moons ago, to this very strong woman, you
Thank
know,
you.
who is you are in control,
Thank
you know,
you.
and I think that's awesome. I really do.
Thank
Um,
you.
if you had the power to change anything, you know, within the dynamics of your mom-daughter journey, what would it be?
That's a good question. I don't. I think having been through my challenges with my mom and this in general, but specifically with this subject, it has taught me a lot in a lot of ways. That it made me the person that I am.
Mm,
Um, that not even just that idea of like, you know, diamonds are made from, you know, but just the idea of like, it taught me to stand up for myself,
yeah,
and it taught me how to advocate for myself, right? And it taught me that I don't have to take crap from other people. Like, I not that my
mm,
mom was ever spewing that. Like, I don't want this to
right.
come across like my mom's this awful person, because she's
Oh,
really
she's
not. She's
not.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, my mom's amazing, and
she
she's like I
is.
said, she's my best friend. But having been through my experiences with her, it really made me able to say, nope, I'm done. Like, this is not okay. Like, this is not how I'm going to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's manifested itself into the work that I'm doing, and also just, you know, the dreams that I have and the goals that I have for myself, that I don't have to stand for nonsense. Basically, I
Exactly.
can walk away from any situation, and I'm in control of my own life and my own body. So, yeah,
That's awesome. That really
yeah.
is. It's good to hear. So, you know, we've been having this campaign
Hmm.
on Rubens Nest, and it's called, you know, Love Me As I Am Because.
Hmm.
Why should we love you? Love you as I am because. How would you finish that thought?
Love me as I am because I'm genuine. I try not to sugarcoat things. I want to be as honest and transparent with people as I can, to a degree that's safe. So love me as I am because I'm trying to live authentically.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. If you, well, you do it every day, but if you were in a room full of plus size little girls growing up, what
Mm.
would be your advice to them?
Wow. Okay. Oh, wow. See, now I'm gonna get all emotional and I'm gonna start crying and it's gonna be bad.
That's okay. I've done it many times.
I think the thing that I would tell them, or one of the things that I would tell them, is that it's okay. Take care of yourself. Learn how to take care of yourself. Learn what it is that you need in order to thrive and love yourself and be a productive member of society. Find out what that means to you and live. Live. Don't spend time wishing for living in the what ifs, because you think you're too big to get on a roller coaster, or you're too big to jump out of a plane. If you want to do something, you can do it. So live your life and don't let anybody stop you. Yeah.
That's dynamite advice. That really is. And I'm going to have you come and be on the show.
Yeah. Well, I graduate in 3 weeks, so my schedule will open up way more once I graduate. So
Awesome.
let me know.
Awesome. Okay, I will. Because we
Yeah.
got to have you come on the show. You can sit in with us on the panel and have some really good conversation. Just know that I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. Means a lot. Thank you.
I've watched your journey. I totally relate. I think we have that in common. And I said, it's just, amazing. You're an amazing young woman. And I just want to thank you for taking time out of your super, super busy schedule to come and, just chat with me for a few little minutes.
This is fun. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Jewel. And Miss Jewel is, she works at UCLA. She is finishing up her grad degree. You're going for your master's?
Yes.
For your master's in child development, or?
No, higher education leadership.
Oh, even better. Oh,
yeah,
I'm out of the loop.
At Cal State Northridge.
That's awesome. This woman, I'm telling you, I remember way back when she was going to be a designer, and it started out there, but she has such a heart for young people, and she's just an amazing role model. So we are thrilled to have her. So you'll have to come back.
Yes.
And like I said, and be on the show. And you all out there, make sure when I say Jewel is going to be on the show that you tune in and watch. Okay? Thank you, my darling Jewel.
Thank you.
Keep going out there and being uniquely yours. Okay? All right.
Take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Yes, I'm here with Elizabeth, and she is a mom, and we're celebrating moms this month in honor of Mother's Day. We've already had an opportunity to chat with her daughter, Jewel. And, I decided let's get a mom's perspective and a daughter's perspective separately of what is it like, from each person's point of view to be raised as a plus size or to raise a plus size child. As I mentioned before, I see both sides of the coin because I was a plus size little girl coming up, and I'm a plus size woman, obviously. And I had issues with my mom coming up. And then I had a son who was a plus size. So I see both sides of the coin. So Elizabeth, first, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
I'm a nurse currently. I enjoy my job tremendously. And I enjoy my children and my grandchildren. And, life is good. Life is very good.
Life is good. I've known Elizabeth for a while. She and her husband and the family, and they're awesome people. And you're an awesome mom.
Well, thank you.
You are. So, coming up with Jewel, tell me about that journey. Was it easy? Was it hard? Did she make it easy? Did she make it hard? Being a mom, is so important, especially when you're raising a child who tends to be a little bit on the heavier side. It's a challenge.
Definitely. Yeah. It definitely is. What had happened was that at the age of about 5, when she was growing up before 5, she was just a normal size little girl, very happy, bubbly, and she still is today.
She is.
And as she turned 5, I noticed that she was having tendencies to be overweight. I watched it for a while, and I had hoped that as she grew, she would throw off that weight. But unfortunately, that did not happen. As the years went by, I tried to encourage Jewel to eat well, to exercise, and to just basically watch what she was eating. I didn't mind her being chubby because I myself was a chubby little girl growing up. But I noticed as the years went by, it got worse. It got increasingly worse. And I approached it from a point of view of health first and then appearance afterwards. So like I said, I encouraged her to eat well, to exercise and things like that. I even paid for her to go to these weight loss clinics. It would work for a while, and then nothing was, it wasn't. So, of course, in frustration, I believe on occasion I might have said a couple hurtful things. But again, just out of frustration, maybe not the wisest thing to do. But, like I said, out of frustration. But then I changed the way that I was doing stuff. And I tried to approach it differently. It still didn't work. I went to several doctors with Jewel. In the hope that would encourage her, to lose the weight. But as I'm understanding this weight issue, there's several factors involved with weight. And to this date, Jewel has not really honestly expressed why it is that she was why she felt the need to eat as much as she was eating. I blame it on stress. I blame it on a myriad of things. But my main thing is to make sure that Jewel is eating healthy, and I continue to encourage her to do so up to today.
So tell me, you said you were a chubby child.
Definitely was a chubby child.
All right. Now, there's some books that we've been using as reference. One is Dr. Robin, who wrote a book, Good Girls, Good Girls Don't Get Fat. And, and then another one is You're So Pretty, You'd Be So Pretty If, by Dara Chadwick. And in both of those books, they talk about how a lot of the behavior of the child comes from, a little frustration, definitely, but it's modeled behavior. And sometimes it's the parent tends to put their frustrations onto the child. And so there's that, what I call the push-pull, where I want to be, I want to be healthy, but my mom doesn't think that I am. My mom thinks I'm fat, so I'm not going to get thin, and I'm just going to prove her wrong, so forth and so on. So they talk about also what they call a legacy of learned issues or problems. How did your mom deal with you when you were growing up? Was there a time where you felt that she was, expressing dismay? Did she push you one way or the other?
Well, growing up, my mom never really mentioned anything about my being overweight. It wasn't something that was really discussed. I never felt in any way upset by anything she said, because basically she never referred to my weight issues or anything like that. But as I grew older, she would mention about me being overweight. and not in necessarily a good fashion, more like a critical, more in criticism. But, you know, I always struggled with weight issues, and I would also go on diets myself, and then I would lose a couple pounds and then only to gain it back again. And it's just always been such a vicious cycle. But truthfully speaking, my mom as a child growing up never really mentioned weight. I would more get that from my cousins, that I was chubby or I was fat, and I did not pay it any mind, because the way that I was brought up with so much love, that it never really affected me that way.
Yeah.
Never really affected me. So I don't think that Jewel got that, that I
You never put any of your frustrations on her.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, I never did any of that.
Right.
But then, you know, being a nurse myself and realizing that it's will become a health hazard and, you know, all these issues, then is when I really decided, I thought about it and I was like, no, this, you know, she has to do something about this weight, because it's going to get progressively worse and she's going to have severe health issues.
And as a nurse, I mean, that is something that I know that many of our viewers, I myself, you know, we have issues, because, you know, you tend to be, if you're overweight, you know, your joints definitely,
Yes,
have to carry all of that, all the gorgeousness, all my, you know,
and a lot of tiredness.
and there is tiredness with it, because you can't move sometimes as quickly as you want. So what are some of the types of things that you would do to suggest, you know, I know you said you did weight clinics, but did we ever, you know, I know you cook well, you know, that I have no doubt. When we have been talking on, you know, on the show previously, we were always talking about how when you want your child to do something, you know, instead of just telling them to do it, you show them.
Yes. And I tried all of that too, but one of the things that Jewel would do is, once we cooked and all of that, once we were, you know, during the day, she would eat what she wanted to eat.
Oh, closet eater.
Yes.
Okay. I was a closet eater, so I relate to that. I have a story. My father caught me. My dad used to work, you know, as a contractor, and on one of his job sites, he happened to be working for a company that made ice cream sandwiches, so he used to bring them home. And one morning, it must have been 7 o'clock in the morning, he came out into the kitchen and found me, you know, standing by the fridge, and he's like, "What are you doing?" "Nothing." "What's behind your hand?" "Nothing." You know, he said, "Let me see your hand." So I held up one. You know, he said, "Let me see the other one." So I switched, you know, and I showed him no. He said, "Let me see both your hands." And I pressed up against the wall, you know, holding this thing up against the wall next to the fridge so I could show him both hands. He said, "Walk away from the wall." And when I walked away from this thing that used to be an ice cream sandwich that I had squeezed and smushed, fell to the floor. My father said, "Why are you doing this? I don't understand." And to be quite honest, neither did I. It was just, I woke up, I thought about it, I knew it was there, and I wanted it.
Yes.
You know? And it's not that my parents didn't prepare healthy meals, but there was, you know, like I said, something inside of me that had to change a little bit. I had to accept myself either as I was, or I had to do something about it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And for me, I eventually chose, you know, weight loss surgery. When I ballooned up to 350 pounds, I said, okay, now I need to do something. And that was my personal choice. And, you know, as we say on the show, we never push diets, we never push surgery, we never push anything. This has to be a choice that you have to make.
Definitely, yes.
You know?
Yes.
And you have to figure out, what is your why? You know, why are you the way you are? Why do you want to be this way? If you want to lose weight, are you losing weight because you want to, or because people tell you you have to? So, my choice was, I discovered I had sleep apnea. And I was, my breathing stopped so many times in a minute, not in a minute, in an hour, that the doctor said to me, you've got to do something about this because you might not wake up.
That's correct.
And I had a young son. So I decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And that was for me. I lost some weight, and frankly, I'm happy where I am.
That's important.
Yeah, I'm happy where I am.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that kind of thing. So I have a question. If you could change anything at all about how your relationship was or is, because I know you two are besties. I know you love her to pieces, and she sure loves you. She really loves her mom.
That's nice to know.
Yeah, she does. She does. What would you do differently?
Well, I believe that one of the things that I would do differently, I think what started to happen with us is that we actually started to eat out quite a bit. And she liked that idea because we got a chance to try different foods, and I believe that if I were to do it over, I would actually try to cook more homemade food. That's what I would do. And I would actually push more exercise. Just, nonchalant. Let's go for a walk. Let's do stuff like that. Not like, to build muscle or anything, just to keep fit, just to keep moving. I would do that. I would actually do that because now myself I'm learning, and I believe that would be one of the things that I would have implemented.
That would have been great, right?
Yes.
That would be good. I know Jewel feels, she feels very empowered, and she's an amazing, amazing young woman and makes tremendous strides. So it's a good thing. So if you were in front of a room full of moms, what would you say to them? What one thing would you say to them if you had that chance to?
Love your child irregardless and encourage as much as you can. Push and stop. Push and stop. Meaning go forward, try to encourage, but then when you realize that, that's enough, you pull back. And then you keep on, trying to encourage in whatever way you can.
Perfect. That's great. Elizabeth, thank you for sharing with us. It was, I know she was a little nervous about wanting to do this, but
I definitely was. I definitely was.
But it's easy, we're easy to talk to. But I really appreciate your coming because there are a lot of moms out there who are going through the same thing, and they're starting off with their little people. And, those little people grow up to be parents. And moms are so very, very important in the development of their kids. And I'm not talking about just body. I'm talking about the whole person. And moms are the core. They are the heart in the home, and the home is where the heart is, So you hold it together. And it's really wonderful to have you here with us. And I'm going to wish you a happy Mother's Day.
And same to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your being here.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we will see you soon. So let's take it away. As you said, we all have stories, and thank you, Elizabeth and Jewel, for sharing yours. You two ladies are awesome. And I just want to let you know, Jewel is just that. This young woman, she journeys forward, has such a positive, uplifting attitude, and her mom is amazing. So, the foundation, and she comes from, two parents, and her dad also very positive, very uplifting. And there's always a rocky road.
Of course.
That's just nature.
Right.
But Jewel, like I said, what I love about her is, in spite of everything and everyone, Jewel moves forward.
Absolutely.
And Jewel loves Jewel. And that speaks volumes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I was mentioning earlier, my daughter's plus size. She's 22 now. And I can think back to all of my personal struggles with my weight, going back to when I was a child, being given Slim Fast as a child.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Growing up, being on Lindora and all these other weight loss programs, trying to lose, and having this young daughter. And, you know, at some point for me, it was like, I have to stop fighting my body. I have to stop fighting myself and just be. And then as I grew into body positivity and understanding, you know, I'm okay. You know, it's okay to be in this body. It's fine. I realized it became my mission to make sure that she sees an example of someone that is doing well.
Yes.
And it's not always, oh my gosh, I'm always seeking to attain some goal somewhere else. Oh, I'm always trying to lose weight. No, we're not doing that. And I think that's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My son was heavy. We had it in the, we talked about it in the October show, where he was cooking with Antonio. And he didn't start out heavy, but somewhere 7, 8, he started to plump up.
Yeah.
And that comes from his dad's side of the family more so than mine. You know, I'm the anomaly in my family because most everybody else is slender. Even though my mom, after having 5 kids, she went up to a size 24. But then she went on pills and with the doctor to lose weight, and then insisted that I do the same. Which, you know, was like, seriously, really, Mom? You know? So I had... I had pills pushed at an early age.
Yeah.
And so it was always, you know, losing weight. And I determined that I wasn't going to do that to my kid.
Yeah.
So as he gained weight, I never pushed and I never, you know, said, oh my God, you know, look at you. You know, I couldn't do that. I always gave positive messages, and I always said, you know, when he'd come home and if he'd make comments about, you know, other kids, you know, like the girls used to call him teddy bear, and he didn't want to be a teddy bear. He wanted to be a stud, you know. And the girls says, oh, we just love to cuddle. You're so sweet, you know, blah, blah, you know, and that was bothersome, you know, and I got it and I understood that. But I always told him, I said, Antonio, you're handsome, you're smart, you're bright, you're an intelligent young man, and, you know, don't let these people put you into a box and pigeonhole you and make you feel bad about you. You feel good about you. All right?
Absolutely.
And I always told him that. And I said, honey, and dress it, okay? You know?
Better do it.
Exactly. You know, I said, that's what Mom does. You know, I will dress all of this, you know, and step out without, you know, any fear. And I always said, be self-confident in who you are.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
But then he, of his own accord, you know, reached a place where, you know, he wasn't happy. All his friends were shooting up, getting tall, getting slender, getting girls, and, you know, and it had to be a conscious decision. And this is the thing that I knew. It had to be his decision.
Absolutely.
And when he made his decision, he started to make the changes. He started to do the things that he needed to do. And he's lost tons of weight. I mean, you know, I look at him now and I think to myself, if only I did those things too. But, you know.
I was like, I ain't doing that.
I was like, you know what? I'm like you, girl.
Hey.
This is me, and, you know, you either...
Fabulous.
Absolutely. I think it's fabulous, you know, and you either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
Simple as that. You don't have to be around me, you know. Yeah. And I think that's the confidence that I'd love our viewers.
Yes.
You know, the ones who are feeling a little less than. No, love yourself. You know, and feel that confidence that whether you're male or female, you know, it's all about me. Okay, it's not about what other people think.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and here, that leads me into those mixed messages.
Yes.
Okay, you know, oh, you'd be so pretty if.
Yeah.
You know, why don't you make better choices?
Yeah.
You know, choose wisely, dress differently. You know, oh no, you know, you're a little too chubby for that. You can't wear that. Don't wear that. You know, you can't wear that. You know, oh my God, you're wearing stripes? Really?
Yes.
You know? Yeah, you know. Ooh, those flowers. You know, obviously we don't listen.
Right.
You see, we're ours. So, those things, it's like, think before you speak.
Right.
Just like you teach your children to think before they speak, you have to do the same thing. And moms, we always feel that it's our duty, our responsibility to, push that slim agenda.
Yeah.
But is it really? Do you really think that's the role that we should have, that we are going to be the fat police?
Yeah.
Even when we ourselves have issues?
Right.
No.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was thinking of earlier is, kids get so much already from outside, right?
Yes.
Society, television, their
Yes.
peers. Like you said before, when they come home, they don't need more of that. They don't need more of that pressure, more of that negativity. They don't need that. So that home should be the place where, hey, yeah, here's some grapes if you're hungry. Here's some snacks, some healthy stuff. But we're not going to make this a big deal.
Exactly.
Right? Because it's a big deal everywhere else.
Right.
And it shouldn't be this big issue at home.
Not at all. No. I mean, home is, where the heart is.
Right.
And Mom, you're the heart of the home. So you have to really think about that. And, some of the words that we choose, it's like kids hear people, you say, oh, my daughter is just a little bit bigger than her friends. Well, a kid hears, my daughter is fat. Okay? Or you might say things, that you feel are being, you're being complimented. Oh, my son, he's so smart and intelligent. Well, your kid translate that, well, you didn't say I was good looking or handsome. You said I was smart and intelligent, so that means that, my physical presence and appearance isn't pleasing. Right. So we have to be very mindful about how we communicate with our kids. And we have to teach them, that they're in control.
Yeah.
Okay, they're in control, and that we have faith in the judgments that they make.
Right.
Let them make their choices. Let them be the ones to guide you in that path.
Right.
All right?
Right.
As you said earlier, we already know what we look like.
Yeah.
All right? We don't need anybody else to tell us, that we aren't what society has dubbed the norm.
Right.
Okay? You're always, with the BMIs and, oh, you're obese and, oh, my God.
Right.
We hear that enough. So we don't need a reminder.
Right.
We need encouragement.
Right.
We need you to have faith that we're going to make the right choice.
Right.
I found that oftentimes when you keep pushing your agenda, that you get pushed back.
Push back. Absolutely.
Okay, you get pushed back and you get a negative result.
Right.
Because it's weird why we do this as humans, but we do.
That's what we do.
You
Absolutely.
hear somebody tell you something, they're pushing you. Oh, all right, fine. Okay, well, I'm just going to go and I'm going to eat that gallon of ice cream just to prove to you I can and I don't care.
Right.
And so you've defeated all
Right.
purposes.
Right.
And you've done nothing but now you got a kid who is eating a gallon of ice cream,
Right.
who's sick to their stomach, because they did it
Out of spite.
Out of spite,
We could have just had a nice little bowl of ice cream and been fine.
Exactly.
We would have started
Right.
something,
Okay.
Yeah.
So be mindful of what it is that you're saying,
And to that point, really quickly, this whole concept of good food, bad food, I think we got to get it. We got to get away from that too.
Yes.
We got to get away from that.
Yes.
Well, if I exercise today, then I can have ice cream. Or we gotta get away from that whole dynamic.
Totally. Everything is about balance.
Right.
It really is. It's about balance. You can eat a bowl of ice cream for dessert
Sure.
if you choose to,
Yeah.
if you've eaten, a healthy portion. Okay, that's all it is. It's really about portions. You know this, for those of you who are what I call serial dieters, because all the diet books will tell you about portion control.
Right.
I like to think, it is about portion control, but it is also about balance. I don't necessarily have to eat, a big bag of M&Ms when I can have a small bag of M&Ms, or a few M&Ms. All right, but we condition ourselves, as you said, I'm gonna eat these M&Ms and then I'm gonna go for a long walk because then I will have burned the M&Ms off.
Right.
Don't think that way.
Right.
just think about balanced eating,
Yeah.
healthy eating, you know, just make wise choices, you know, for yourself, you know, and you'll be surprised
Right.
at, you know, how much better you feel.
Just eat them. Just eat the Oreo.
Yeah.
Eat the M&Ms. Just eat them.
You know, I mean,
Enjoy it
seriously,
and move
enjoy
on.
it and keep going. And because it's the guilt that it's the
That's
guilt.
what- that's
it's
what
the
it
guilt that
is.
gets you.
Yep.
You know, and Mom, you don't need to add to that. You know, there was an old TV show, Mary Tyler Moore and Rhoda Morgenstern and Ida, her mother, who was the queen of guilt trips. You know, don't be an Ida Morgenstern. You know. I know for you young people, you probably don't know,
Yeah, I'm like,
who I'm talking about.
See who Ida Morgenstern
Yeah, but Ida
is.
Morgenstern was one of the moms who was like a martyr. Everything was, oh my God, I was in labor for 17 hours with you, and this is the thanks I get.
Wow.
You're gonna eat the whole pie, and I'm trying to tell you, you need to be slim because no doctor is gonna want to marry you. You know, so. Don't be that mom.
No.
Don't be that.
No.
Don't be that mom. You know, so
That's
it's
so
it's very important. And you know, Mom, we have a tremendous influence on our kids, you know, and on not only how we eat, how we view ourselves, but how we develop
Yeah.
and what you encourage us in. All right? And today we've got somebody on the show that we mentioned earlier, Toushanta, who's going to talk to us
Yes.
about raising a mogul. And the importance of that is there are a lot of kids with a lot of talent out there,
Yes.
okay? And we want them to grow up to be, you know, very... I hear people say this all the time. We want to raise kids to be good human beings.
Yes.
You know, we do. We want to be good human beings. We just want to be good people. But we want them to be successful too.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can remember when I was small, you know, young kid, it was the lemonade stand. And the other day I was driving down the street and I saw some kids on the corner
That's
with their
so
little
cute.
lemonade stand. I was like, oh man, they still do
So
that.
cute.
That's adorable. And Mom and Dad were out there encouraging them, had their sign and everything. So, you know, it starts with that. You teach your children, yeah, this is a great thing to do, you know, and how do you build on that?
Right.
You know, you have some children who just have a natural affinity for certain things. It's like my son, from early, we realized that there was music in him.
Oh, yeah.
Music was in his soul.
Yeah.
Okay? I bought him a little tiny toy piano. And you know how when you buy children musical instruments for Christmas when they're little, then you swear to yourself you'll never do it again? Because all you hear, you know, all day, every day is this cacophony of sound.
Yes.
And it's just bang, 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 bang.
Right.
You know? Well, my son, I bought him a little toy piano. And he would sit. And actually, because it was like a little baby grand.
Oh, wow.
With a little bench. And he would actually sit.
me?
And he was making music.
Wow.
He was never banging, just, you know, indiscriminate banging. So I realized, okay, the kid has something in him.
Right.
I mean, you know, music runs in the family, you know, on both sides. So I encouraged that.
Yeah.
You know, and so he's a musician, and then as he got older, we also recognized that he had a passion for cooking.
Hey.
And I encourage that.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where, you know, he said to me one day, not that long ago, he says, Mom, you never cook anymore. And I go,
Hey, that's great.
I know.
That's a high five.
it's like, why? Why would I want to cook? You're here. You cook, you know? I mean, you can have the kitchen.
This is great.
I love to cook, but he does it better, so
Right.
you know, go for it. So, you know, so
great.
It is wonderful. So if you have kids who are, you know, whether they are prodigies or whether they are just exhibiting interest in certain things, you know, that is part of our role as parents, and Mom especially, because you spend the most time with your kids.
Yeah.
Recognize it and do something about it. So let's watch the interview with Toushanta. Toushanta, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's awesome. I just want to say again, thank you for being one of our sponsors, you and Shy. It's just amazing. Your products are amazing.
Thank you.
And we sincerely hope that whoever wins them, will love them. And, because, I mean, it's a beautiful basket.
Thank
really,
you.
I'm telling you, it's a gorgeous basket. Just wait,
Thank you so much.
So it's good. So when you were here last with us doing commercial for again, Sensational Soaps and Shy's World, which is the vegan nail polish, which just blows me away every time I think about it, that a 14-year-old is doing that, You mentioned that you have this program that you're involved with that is like a mentorship kind of program for raising young moguls.
Yes. So it's called Raising a Mogul, and my business partner, Tamara Zantel, who is the founder. I'm the COO, Chief Operating Officer of Raising a Mogul. We met in Dallas, Texas. It was a program, project that we were a part of that was not great. And she said, hey, I have this thing called Raising a Mogul. Why don't you come and join and be a part of it? And I was like, okay, great, because I have my daughter, Cheyenne.
Yeah.
She had just started her business. But I was trying to figure out, how did I be a part of this project anyway? She had been watching me for some time and pulled me into the project. And I thought the person who was over the project initially pulled me in, but it was her who told her about me. So you never know who's watching you,
That's right. Exactly.
You never know who's watching you. So she started Raising a Mogul, and so I've been able to support her with Raising a Mogul. So Raising a Mogul is basically giving parents the tools, the knowledge, and the skill set needed to raise the young moguls. And what do we mean by that? We basically are speaking of raising empires. We're not going to say business. I like to say empires, because we want to make sure that they have generational wealth even after.
I like that. Yeah.
After, they have grown and they have passed it down to generation. So inside we have a portal that a parent can actually log into at their leisure and learn about different facets of business. So just imagine if I'm your daughter and you're the mommy, you guys are both looking at it at the same time together and learning together. Or if you're in business, your young mogul is in business too. You guys are learning together, and it's so reasonable the portal that we offer. But it's like branding, how to become a local celebrity, how to write press releases. I mean, it's a plethora of classes in there. It's over 50 classes in there, and every Monday we put in new classes.
I was looking through the list and I was like, wow. I mean, that's really amazing, because there are so many young people out here who, the first thing I thought about when I was reading it was, back in the day when you would have, your little lemonade stand, your little cookie stand, and, you get out there and that's sort of your beginning business, right?
Right.
But you never go beyond that.
Right.
And I thought, oh my God, this is something that really speaks to, not only creating empires, but you are molding young people in such a positive direction. And like I said, I was looking through, the different things that you offer, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's really good, because I had a parent ask me just yesterday, I looked at the site and my daughter is 24 years old. Can she still be a part? I was like, absolutely, yes.
Right.
We say young moguls, but anyone can be a part, because we have different levels of Raising a Mogul. We have a Raising a Mogul consulting firm, and that's where the adults are down to the babies. We also have Raising a Mogul manual. We have parents that are about to be participating in a manual that they're writing a chapter each about raising their young moguls.
Oh.
And that's coming out in June. We also have a summit that's coming out in June as well.
I saw that in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Hey, you folks in Atlanta, you need to mark your calendars. It's June 27th and 30th, right?
Yes.
27th through the 30th.
It's called, go to RaisingAMogulSummit.com, RaisingAMogulSummit.com to get all the information. So we have some powerhouses that are coming out to speak to our parents.
Wonderful.
As well as and it's a family summit, meaning you can bring your children. So it's just not just for the parents.
Great.
We want to see your babies as well. So it's just a whole conglomerate of things for Raising a Mogul that has really started fostering and just snowballing like overnight, like literally. We also have chapter partners too. We have chapter partners here in Los Angeles area. We have chapter partners in Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina. We have chapter partners in Atlanta. We have chapter partners everywhere. So we're bringing all
So tell
these
us about
people
what
up.
are the chapter partners? So you got Raising a Mogul here.
Right.
And then
the chapter partners bring in other, have their own meetings.
Oh.
Within their local community.
Okay.
And then we bring them into Raising a Mogul. So we have a free community on Facebook. If you go to raisingamogul.org, or if you go to Raising a Mogul for teenpreneurs, entrepreneurs, and so forth on Facebook, that's free.
Okay.
In there, there's over 1,200 parents in there. And then if you want to take and if you go in there, you'll swim around and you see all kind of pertinent and great information, even for yourself as being a business owner. Because I'm learning as well.
Right.
So I don't want people to think like, oh my gosh, she's over everybody. No, I'm learning from people as well.
Right.
And within a society, that's the next level up, where you're paying $37 a month to be a part. We bring experts in as well. So a lot of the experts that come in, we're blown away as well. Like, oh my God, wow. So we're not raising young moguls, like you stated, to just be something this is just for fun. We want to make sure that they're competitive in the big brand market as well.
Absolutely.
We want them to be able to look at a brand of your young mogul and be able to be competitive in the market, where they're saying, oh my gosh, she's only 14. Oh my gosh, she's only 9 years old. Yes. We're not doing a mom and pop here. We're for real. We're serious about business.
I can tell. I saw the mommy checklist.
Right.
And I was like, wow. That's some checklist. I mean, seriously.
Right.
You've got some serious stuff on there.
So the thing is, what I want to go back to is that our my business partner, the founder, she started with her baby at 9 years old.
Okay.
Now she's 18 years old. And she has $1 million brand, bath and body business. It's called ZandraBeauty.com. ZANDRA Beauty.com. She has been seen on several platforms, major platforms, including Good Morning America.
Oh, really?
Including Jimmy Kimmel. So you're not getting taught by a person that does not and has not walked the walk. She has walked the walk, and she said when she started Raising a Mogul, it was because she didn't find other people that were like her in that same space of having a young mogul to raise in business. No one gave her any answers to questions that she had, so she built this community in hopes of finding other people who are just like her.
Smart lady.
Very smart. So I'm learning a lot from her. And so with that being said, of course, me being a business owner too, I just wanted to transfer it over to my daughter.
Right.
You know, and so that she can understand how to fish by herself. All I gotta do is just give her the fishing pole and let her go fish.
There you go. Which is awesome. That's great. And I mean, and look, that's what I said, as you said.
Right.
When I heard, when we first met, and she said she's 14, and I was like, 14, and she's got her own little business, and she makes this?
Right.
That's mind-blowing. And there's so many kids out there all over the place that have these wonderful, great ideas, and they just, they kind of fall by the wayside because they don't have the encouragement.
Right.
In school, they have some of these little workshops and little classes, little business classes, little models where they say, okay, create a business, primarily in high school.
Right.
Okay, and they'll say create a business, come up with a business plan, and you have to do certain things and then present it. But then that's
it.
That's it.
It's like where are they going after that? How do we foster and till the soil and encourage?
Yes.
Encourage that. That's where Raising a Mogul comes in. We encourage that. We promote that. We want the parent to understand that they're not by themselves. When we're going through this journey, because it is a grueling journey. And when I say grueling, it's like you have to do the work in order for your child to be successful, and that means you run the business just like a regular business. You're doing all the social media, you're doing all the press releases, you're doing everything, unless you have a team, of course. But in the beginning stages, we have to start from scratch.
Absolutely.
Start from scratch. And we have a plethora of parents with young moguls. We have children who are bakers. We have children who are into financial literacy. We have children who are speakers.
Financial literacy?
Yes, they have flashcards, okay?
Really? Wow.
So in that group, it's a lot of kids in there that are doing amazing, amazing things. And including, like I stated with my business partner, she found us with Cheyenne being on the Real TV show. And that was years ago.
Right.
But she saw that video and reached out. But Cheyenne has been on Good Morning Washington. She's been on Harry TV. So these kids are doing amazing things that I'm like jaw-dropping, because I've been in business for almost 12 years.
Right.
I haven't been on TV. I haven't been on TV.
I know, it's like, wait a minute. What's wrong with this picture, right? Well, you're on YouTube now.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. And hopefully there will be people out here, who are watching and looking, who they have little mini moguls,
Right.
who, and this is something for them to
Absolutely,
look into.
absolutely.
So you've got to have some wonderful success stories.
Yes.
Share.
So one success story was the first time Cheyenne got appearance was through the Real TV show, and because we continue with our social media, someone had inboxed us and said, "Hey, we want her to appear on a Real TV show." And I was having dinner. I was like, "Is this for real? Is this for real?" So I called the next day, and they found us through social media. So that's just the power of social media. So you guys stay consistent with social media. If you're out there, don't just think, "Oh, I'm just gonna do it this week, and next week I'll think about it." You're gonna miss out on opportunities. Because still to this day, I don't know how or what they did to find her, but they did. So that was the first success story. The next success story was Cheyenne. She's also an author, thanks to Xandra, which is Tamara, the founder of Raising a Mogul. Her daughter decided to do a collaborative book, and she has 21 kids within that book. And so each child has a chapter on how they started their business and how their struggles, their highs and lows and so forth in each chapter. So Cheyenne also has a book. She's an author. I'm not an author. Okay. So these things these are successful things that our children are doing, and we are excited for them because we want to pass the torch on to our children, because this is, of course, the next generation, and this is how we're being able to manifest how we want to live our lives when we put into our children.
Exactly.
When we get of age and get older, you know.
As moms, that's just kind of part and parcel of what we do. It's within the job description.
Right.
You nurture your child, you support them, you encourage them. My son is a musician, but he's also has an amazing affinity for cooking, and does it and he does it exceptionally well.
God.
But as he was coming up, I wish that there had been a program like this that I could have been, together involved him to move forward. It was always hit and miss, struggle, and when you are a musician and you live in California, in LA, 2 doors away from Hollywood, where, everybody,
competitive.
It's extremely competitive. Everybody's a musician. Everybody's into acting. Or everybody wants to do something. So it's a huge market. And it's really good that you all seem to be, kind of taking that and that focus, to be able to say, okay, don't let that, deter you in any way. We're going to encourage you. We're going to give you the tools that you need in order to overcome that. Like I said, I saw it with the branding and, writing business plans and
social media.
How to navigate social media for your benefit. All of that is so important, and it really, I can see where it makes the difference.
Absolutely. Because I just feel that business is like a life skill, because it's teaching you so many different facets of yourself. Not only for the customer, but also for you. We have highs, we have lows, we have times we want to give up, we have times where we're like, okay, I have a good win, so a business is a test of you, of how far you're going to go. Because the first 5 years of business is the most important. And I've been in business for 12 years, so I've experienced everything from highs, lows, in between, the whole nine. So for me to be able to experience it for my child, I can pull her in and pull her along to let her know this is normal to feel this way. We need to continue to keep going and growing and thriving and keep tilling the soil. So we also want to continue to let them know to thrive. Now, granted, she may not want to do business later in this industry. However, she can start a whole nother business, because once a business owner, always a business owner. You can start anything the next day. Of course, I was a soap maker 2 years ago, and I still am. But I had to reintroduce myself to say I'm a soap maker, and I'm also a momager now. So I can change.
I like that term, a momager. I love that.
So you can change at any time your lifestyle if you're not happy with where you want to be right now as a mom. And that's why we kept it very affordable, because we're thinking also about the single parent. The single parent home, which is $37 a month. I'm a Starbucks drinker, and we know that costs like $5 a drink, but it's like less than $2 a day for information that we're teaching you, and you're going to make that money back when you implement the things that we're teaching you within your business.
Absolutely. So as you're going through the process and you're bringing a child along, and especially a young child, you've got, kids will be kids.
Right.
And, their attention span, tends to drift.
Right.
And it's like, I'm all excited, this is wonderful and great, yeah,
Right.
now I'm gone.
Right.
How do you bring them back? What are things that you do to bring them back when that, or does that happen?
So with Cheyenne, she started at 9 years old. And the way she started was she was in. So this is a thing for parents. And I'm gonna go to your question. Started at 9 years old. She was in her eye touch. She was in my makeup, and she was like, "This is how you get your Nicki Minaj lips." And I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" I was highly upset. She was using my makeup, and she had concealer on her lips. It was not even lip gloss, okay? Lipstick. It was just all bad. But I kept looking. I looked at it over and over and over. And I said, "There's something good about this," So I had to pull out the goodness from it. She loves beauty. She loves beauty. So I taught her how to make her own nail polish. But before that, we were doing button earrings. We were doing cupcake soap, and it was just too much because I had to really, be over her with that. But the nail polish, she really took a liking to that. So I made sure it was still within beauty. And so as parents, we have to always look at what it is that our kids really, really like. Don't be so hard on them. Yes, I was upset initially, but I kept looking at it over and over and over and over again. And I was just like, wow, this is something
There's gotta be something.
Yeah, something here. So that's how she started her business. 9 years old. Of course, now we're going through the teenage years.
Yes.
The teenage years. So we have to have a balance here. We have to understand each other. And yes, of course, in the beginning we were butting heads. Yeah. Because this is a new baby that we're bringing into our personalities. This is a new business. So how are we going to manage you, me, and this new baby, the business? Right. So we had to create balance, and we had to say, okay, Cheyenne, from the here on out, I'm going to make sure we have a calendar set, and then you can plan accordingly to have your teenage fun with your friends, the mall, the movie, and so forth, so that she'll be able to still be a child, a teenager. So I won't rob her from her teenage years. Of course, we do have meetings each week, and that's to keep her in line, in focus. So if you have a child that's younger, start them off with just starting with having meetings. And let them be a part. We always talk about, our kids should do what we say, blah, blah, blah. But we also want them to have some choices. Yes. So some choices when we initially start off with choices with baby food. Yes. We give our kids baby food. It's like, this is nasty. Yes. And then we give it to them again. And like, oh, I love this. That's a choice. Yes. When they get older, allow them to dress themselves. Yeah, they may be crazy. Of course, if they want to dress themselves when they're little, to go play in the backyard, great. Yeah. But when we're going somewhere, of course, we got to look right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But allow them to have choices, and when you allow them to have choices, they start feeling like, oh, I have independence. And then you allow them to set up and be able to have make their own money, and give them incentives. Because Cheyenne gets a percentage of herself if she meets a certain quota. So you want to give them that independence incentive. So,
and forgive us. As we've done before, we film in my home, and unfortunately my gardeners have horrible timing. It was so nice and quiet because they were elsewhere, So you'll have to forgive me. Let's just be real. Right. But I love what you said about choices. And it's an interesting little anecdote. Back many years ago, when we had the earthquake in '94, our home got red tagged, so I had to go stay with my sister. Wow. And she has a daughter who is 5 months older than my son. And in the morning, my sister would, say, okay, let's pick out what you're wearing to school. And they're like 4. Right. And I would sit there and, think to myself,
what is she doing?
Why are you giving this child choices?
Right.
To what, and allowing her to pick what she wants to wear to school.
Right.
And, my sister was like, no, I'm all about allowing her to make her choices. It makes her feel good. She's going to grow from it, independence, da 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 da. And you know, in my head, I'm going,
Right.
I don't know, I don't know about this, but I did take it. You know,
Right.
I'm open to things, and so
Right.
I said, you know, I don't know if it's going to work, but I did find that with my own son, when I did allow him the opportunity to start making some selections, it made a change.
Right.
It made a change in them.
Right.
And I like that you know, when you're bringing them into the business, that you give them that opportunity.
Right. Right.
You know, choose. This is what you want to do or not.
Right.
You know, and make them feel a part.
Right, because Cheyenne makes her own. She picks her own colors for each collection,
See?
and so now with Cheyenne, she does a free classes with different sessions, like 4 sessions in the community for free. And so she's doing her second session. So it was so funny. Just recently, when she had her first class, I had interjected a little bit, and she said, "Mom, I have this. Like, pretty much, you can have a seat. Like, I'm independent. I have this together."
Okay.
So I was just like, exactly. I was like, okay, let me sit down. So I have allowed her to find her independence.
Perfect.
And be able to stand in front of people and teach a class, teach her peers and teach adults as well. So I was like, oh wow, you know, of course I was like, okay, but I was very happy to know that she can manage and she can be independent on her own at only 14 years old.
Which speaks highly of this raising
Right.
a mogul.
Right,
You know,
right.
this whole program obviously
Right,
is
right.
working.
Yes.
You know, so I think that's great. As a matter of fact, there's another group that I belong to, and they have the young women. They're called the Corals. It's the Drifters of Los Angeles, the Los
Okay.
Angeles chapter. And they've got the young girls, they call them Corals. And they're always looking for people to come and do presentations.
Okay.
I may have to. Ting-a-ling.
Yeah, she's speaking
Yeah.
next Wednesday
Yeah.
at Los Angeles High School.
There
So,
you go.
yeah,
There
to
you go.
girls.
I may
And
have
she's
to do
only
that.
in.
That's
She's
awesome.
not even of that. I mean, she's in high school, but she's not as old as the ones that she'll be speaking
to.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You're doing a great job.
Thank you so
You are doing
much.
a great job.
Thank you.
And we may have to do an entire show on moguls, and you'll have to bring them on.
Oh yeah,
And let's see.
absolutely. We have a
Let's
few
see.
here in Los Angeles.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be great to do a
Yeah.
show. You know, because we're all about the promoting and being uniquely yours, and this is definitely one way of doing it.
Right.
You know, so June 27th to the 30th in Atlanta. Don't forget, there's the big summit. You want to look it up again.
RaisingAMogulSummit.com.
Okay, and we'll have that across the screen so that you won't forget. We'll make sure that we put that on the Facebook page as well. So, Toushanta, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I so appreciate you
Thank you
taking
for
time
having
to
me.
doing this, and we'll definitely have you back again and with your young moguls. It would be great.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take it away, ladies. Well, that was a great interview with Toushanta. I'm impressed beyond belief, and I think that if you have parents, especially, you know, I mean, it's just not LA.
Right.
They are everywhere.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, if you're viewing and you happen to be, you know, in Atlanta, they have a conference, which we talk, you know, you heard us talk about. They have a conference coming up, so you'll want to probably book that and go and check it out, you know, and bring your kids. And definitely make sure that you are, you know, encouraging your children to be the best that they can be from early on. And, you know, a lot of what we've said, of course, is because, you know, Rubens Nest is about the plus size community.
Right.
So that's our focus. But a lot of what we said applies to children in general, parenting in general.
Absolutely.
These are things that you do for your kids, you know, whether they are, you know, plus size, thin, you know, standard size, whatever.
Right.
You know, the way you talk to them, how you communicate is super important. How you present yourself to them.
Right.
You know, don't place your insecurities on them. You know, let them be free
Yes.
to be themselves. Don't stifle that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When you start stifling your child's, you know, natural instincts and creativity, it really has long-reaching and long-term effects.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, you find a lot of adults laying on a lot of shrink tables, or not tables, but sofas. Sofas, 6.5, right? And when the psychiatrist or psychologist, starts talking, and it goes back, the root goes back to my mom said, or my dad said, or somebody said something, that set me on this path.
Right.
All right. So we don't want that for our children. We only want the best. And so I said, we want perfect apples. So if you want a perfect apple, you got to polish it, you got to shine it, all the time, so that it is the best that it can be. And with our children, that's what we want to do. Let them know how much you love them. That's an important thing.
Yes.
Very important thing.
Right.
Sometimes we don't tell our kids enough.
That's very true.
That we love them.
Very true. Yeah, I think we assume that they know, or, oh, well, of course they know I love them. But it is really important to say, I love you, thank you, or thank you sometimes.
Exactly,
too,
yes,
right?
yes. And along with, I love you, thank you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, oh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry is so key, because when you are big enough as a parent to own up to the fact that you said or did something that was hurtful, and you come back to your child, that means the world to them. That leaves an impression, all right? And we keep saying, we want them to grow up to be, fabulous people, and we want them to be the best that they can be, and live their best lives, all those key buzzwords, but it starts at home, and it starts from birth. It actually starts before. It really does. Yeah, jinx. It does. Talk to your baby, in the womb. Talk to your child. Let that child hear your voice, with the loving, words and of comfort, and let that baby know they're coming into this warm environment that they don't want to stay in any longer. They'll come out and they'll be enveloped in love. So those are important things. A lot of what we've said, good stuff coming from 3 really great books. If you have Apple iBooks, you can get them all on iBooks, cool. Or Amazon, of course. And iBooks, Amazon, they are not our sponsors, but just, resources that we've used. If you'd like to be our sponsor, feel free to contact us. info@rubensnest.com. We're always looking for sponsorship. And it's really been fun. Being able to just share with you. And hopefully, all you wonderful, fabulous moms or moms to be will take heart and will put some of this advice into practice.
Yes.
And you'll have some really fabulous kids.
Yeah.
It's never too late to be, a great mom.
That's true.
Yeah, never too late.
Our kids are grown.
Yeah, we're still, I know.
Being mom.
Yeah, it never ends. Just by the way, I just want you to know, I heard somebody the other day make a comment about, when does parenting end? I thought when they turned 18. No, honey, it never ends.
And actually, I feel like it gets a little bit harder as they get older, because they actually need you in a different way.
Yes, absolutely. So, don't think that, when your kid turns 18, goes off to college, if they move away, that they're never coming back, because they are.
Yeah.
They will be back. And you're right. They need you in a very different way. They don't need you to judge them. They don't necessarily need your advice, which that's another important thing. Don't give it until it's asked for.
Yes.
Okay, you can create a serious wedge, when you start doing that.
Right.
You might see your child doing something, and unless they're walking off a cliff, okay, in front of you, don't offer until they've asked you for it, okay? But of course, if you see your child walking off a cliff, then stop. Then you got to say, hey, sorry, that is not a good idea.
Right.
And I know you're an adult, but I gotta say
However.
this, okay? Gotta say it. So anyway, it's been a fun show.
Yes.
It's been a good show. And, you know, it's that time when we wrap everything up.
All right.
And I'm sure you're all wondering about our contest. Well, next month, we're going to have our winners.
Ooh, winners.
Yeah, on the show, and we will have them on Facebook.
Cool.
So, you know, tune in for that. You know, as always, you know, we're always here trying to, you know, continue to share, you know, a little bit of something that we hope you'll enjoy, you know. Now, in our last show, we ended it with me sharing, I don't think I want to call them poems, but, you know, some thoughts. And they just bear repeating. You know, it's important that you moms know that this was not about criticizing, this was about helping. Because, as we said, we're moms, so it applies to us too, okay? But I want to read this so that you know, you get it and you know. It takes someone brave to be a mother, someone strong to raise a child, and someone special to love someone more than herself. That's what a mom is, okay? Moms sometimes weren't considered very special. Mom's job was never thought of as a job and or a career.
True.
Okay? But it is. It's one of the most important roles in job, career, whatever position, however you want to label it, that a woman could have.
Absolutely.
Okay? You know, and true enough, there are some of us who maybe aren't cut out to be moms, but the vast majority of us, it's kind of what we want. That's what we look for. Motherhood has changed over the years. You know, it has evolved. You know, and it is very important, and society has recognized its importance. So, you know, kudos and congratulations, and we celebrate all of you moms for all the fabulous things that you do every single day, for getting up early in the morning, okay, when you've got little ones, getting them up and getting them out, you know, making a warm breakfast. I remember my mom would get up early, and she'd have, on cold winter days, we'd have oatmeal or, you know, something hot ready for us before, and she had to get dressed to go to work too.
Right.
Okay? So, you know, thanks for that, you know,
Yeah.
to my mom and to all the moms that get up and do that, get their kids dressed, come home after work, you know, cook dinner, clean everybody up, and still, after everybody's gone to sleep, she's preparing lunches for the next day. Okay? So, those of you who are children, go home and say, Mom, I love you and thank you for everything that you've done for me. You know, appreciate them on Mother's Day.
Yes.
You know, it's right around the corner.
We like flowers.
Lots of beautiful. And you know what? Speaking of flowers, I've heard this, and I'm sure you have too. Give your flowers while they can be appreciated.
Yeah.
Don't wait until it's too late, okay? Yeah. And give them, you know, give them flowers, give them bouquets, give them things that mean something. I find, for me personally, some of those little homemade cards,
Love it,
and gifts and things that my son did for me mean far more than, you know, buying, you know, a watch or a pair of earrings. Those are wonderful and great, and they're lovely and appreciated, but it's the love that comes behind when your kid sits down and creates something for you.
Yep. I still have a lot of her
me too.
cards.
Me too. Oh yeah, I've got a box full of things that I've kept and little things that he's made for me.
Yep.
And I just, you know, I love it. And every now and again I'll go back and I'll be going through it, and the tears just like, oh my sweet, my boy, he's so old, you know. You know, and I think, and even now as a grown man, he has come to me quite often and will just say, Mom, I just want you to know how much I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You know, and I recognize all of the struggles that you've made so that I could do things, you know. So, moms, all of you, you deserve a hand clap.
Yay!
You do. And kudos for everything. So, happy Mother's Day from all of us here in the Nest. including Siobhan and Tamia. And happy Mother's Day, Siobhan. Hopefully we'll see you before then, but, still.
Right.
Okay. So we appreciate that you were here with us today, and we want you to know that we are going to continue plodding forward, bringing you shows that we think are of interest. We look forward to anyone who has a thought or a suggestion, to send us an email and say, hey, I've been wondering about this, talk to us, and, just do it. It's easy. info@rubensnest.com, and you can go on our Facebook page and post something, but most importantly, when you watch the show, make sure that you like and subscribe. All right? And then leave us a comment or two. Yeah, we like hearing from you all, and it can be good or bad. Right. We learn from good critique. Notice I said not criticism, critique. So if there's something that perhaps that you think that we should do better, tell us. Yeah. We can't improve if you don't tell us. Absolutely. All right? So we've got a lot of good stuff that'll be coming, in the months to come. Okay. So look forward to seeing you next time. And remember, a strong woman loves, forgives, walks away, lets go, tries again, and perseveres, no matter what life throws at her. Be a strong woman so your child will have role models. Your sons will know what to look for in a woman when he becomes a man. All right? So, I'm going to leave you with that. Nicole, my darling, thank you so much again for being with us today.
So much fun being here.
Always. It's a joy. So you all take care. Have a great day. Look for us on Facebook. Look for us on Instagram. And remember, click, like, subscribe. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.